We've spent the past 3 segments talking about the problems dangerous dogs create. So in this segment, we want to focus on possible solutions. Joining me now are Democratic State Representative Keisha Waits of Ellenwood and Fulton County Chairman John Eves. Thank you both for joining us.
My pleasure.
Representative Waits, let's start with you. You have introduced a measure this week. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. It's companion legislation, and simply what it does is continue to empower local jurisdictions to enforce or strengthen current existing dangerous, vicious dog laws. It mirrors what you see in Minnesota. For example, it would increase liability insurance. There would be a document given out for the 12 breeds that are deemed by the American Kennel Association to be dangerous and/or vicious dogs that say that these dogs have a propensity to be dangerous and/or vicious, and these will be given out at the time of an adoption or a sale.
Now, you think that this should be done at the local level as opposed to the state level in terms of giving the local jurisdictions more power?
Well, we've tried to do this at the state level, and I've had very little success. In fact, Angela Rutledge's story is what compelled me in 2012 to do something on a statewide level, but for whatever reason, we were not successful. The animal community, advocacy community is very strong in terms of lobby, and trying to get something done at the state level was very difficult. So my thought process is, given Logan, and the dynamics that are happening right now today with the partnerships along with the county and the city, maybe this is the time to advance that conversation and to support the local jurisdictions who already have the authority to do that.
Okay, so you still think that going the local route would be possibly more effective?
Absolutely.
Now, you're talking about special registration permits.
Yes.
12 different breeds. We usually hear about pit bulls, Rottweilers, that sort of thing. Anything specific regarding those breeds?
No. I have sat down with the animal rights community, veterinarians, and the experts, and when you use the terms pit bull, Rottweiler, there is a sense that you are labeling and specifically pointing out one dog over another dog. So my thought process is the American Kennel Society has dubbed these 12 dogs to be dangerous and/or vicious based upon previous patterns and statistics. And so we're going to stay within those parameters versus picking out specifically. Although I would agree with you, when you look at gruesome, morbid, and fatal attacks, they tend to be surrounding specific breeds, and we know what those breeds are.
Chairman Eves, animal control officers, we heard that there are 14 animal control officers for all of Fulton County, and there's been debate about, is that really enough? Do you think the issue or a possible solution is to hire more animal control officers?
Well, first of all, I applaud Representative Waits. I think the onus needs to be put more on the animal owner. We have 14 officers that patrol 77 miles worth of Fulton County from Alpharetta to the north, Palmetto to the south. It's a big problem. It's a national problem. It's an urban problem, but it's a problem that's really mostly acute in the urban core. And so last year we picked up 5,700 dogs in Fulton County. This month alone, January, we picked up 712 dogs in Atlanta. And so it's a problem, but I think that putting into a larger context, of that number, about 40 of them were dog bites and 6 of them were deemed vicious. And so I think that getting officers, more officers, is part of a solution, but you can't solve the problem only that way. You have to have more responsible dog owners. So I think education is incredibly key in this, looking at this problem.
Now, in terms of dog ownership and training, how likely do you think it would be to get people on board to tighten up the requirements when you purchase a dog?
So there's some positive things that have been done. There's some city council people and commissioners who've actually taken it on their own in terms of getting residents in a particular community or district to come out and register their dogs, have their dogs trained, because there's truly a need for an educational component. Again, you can have enforcement, which is needed, but that's not going to solve the problem. You have to get people educated. And so coming up with some sort of registration process, coming up with incentives for people to want to get their dogs registered, get themselves trained so that they can be responsible dog owners. To me, those are some of the things that must be done to solve this problem.
Very briefly, what do you think is the biggest misconception as far as the current local and state's responsibility in terms of this?
Well, the misconception is that enforcement is the only solution to this problem. I don't think people realize the magnitude of the problem. Again, 5,700 dogs were picked up last year. and an overwhelming majority of them are in the city of Atlanta. And so if you do the numbers, there's just no way that you can be on Johnny on the spot to deal with an issue. The solution really falls in the hands of the dog owner. You got to train them, and then residents in the community can also play a role as well.
And in our final seconds, Representative Waits, long-term, short-term, what do you think the chances are that this will happen?
The legislation on the local level? Well, it's my hope that we are interested more in preserving human life than animal life.
Thank you so much, and that's it for this week's edition of Public Affairs on Peach.